Shit.
Right leg up. Okay. Don't put your leg down. Okay. Alright. Yeah! Woohoo! Welcome to another episode of Games with My Friends. Today my guest is Anisa. I have a fairly long intro which I'm gonna try and read out here. She is one of the BAFTA Games Member Juror. She's also games industry top 100 women and game changers. She's one of Forbes 30 under 30. She is also the founder of Limit Break Mentorship, which is a mentorship program for underrepresented people working in the UK games industry. And now she's the person with the longest intro on this show so far. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Why am I saying welcome? Thank you for.
Yeah.
Thank you for going through all of that. Jesus, every time someone says that, I just get really nervous. I'm like, oh, hallelujah.
Yeah. I'm literally I got all of that from your Twitter, so I'm just reading it up based on that. Oh god. Okay. Do we both have to do this tutorial? Okay.
I guess so.
Alright. I should highlight to people. Today we're gonna play a game called Biped, which is a co-op indie game. I think it's like a puzzle platformer-ish game.
Yeah.
From the studio. I'm not sure from where. I'm assuming it's China. Don't take my word for it. Only because when I tried to look for like the local servers, they put mainland China or others.
Wow, this is actually really difficult because you're moving like the legs separately based on like your right and left. Your right and left.
You got it.
Step on the mark. I am stepping on the mark.
You can hold the right click, and then just like aim it, and then there you go.
Oh my god. Okay, I can do. I'm a gamer. I can do this. I'm in a video game.
There we go. Oh, sorry, I must have missed it. There we go.
Oh, you haven't done it. Okay, so I'm the pink one, and you're the blue one.
You're the pink one. I'm the blue one, and the reason why this game's called Bipeds is because we obviously have two legs.
Okay. Oh wow, this is gonna be a slow game.
It's alright. Like I said earlier before we started this recording, that it will be chill and slow.
It's gonna be chill. Okay, good. I like chill because I feel like I have too much excitement in my life. I would just want to relax. You know, sometimes boring is good.
You are also the first game dev on my episode. Woohoo.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm usually one of many game devs because you know they all have this like a type of person they always invite to people's things.
Well, honestly, I'm open to anyone on this show. It's just like the whole point of the show is just to catch up. Oh, what's happening? What's happening?
Grab all the things.
Wait, there's more here.
Grab all the things. Is that it? Is that it?
I think so. Is that? Really? It's a bit sad.
Why
Is there more back here?
Oh,
there is more back here. Ooh.
How is this chill? Whoop, whoop.
Okay, let's go to our tiny little square. Cute.
So we actually go way back, don't we?
Yeah, we do. On the previous episode, I spoke to another mutual friend of ours, Nebs.
Nebula.
But yeah, we go all the way back to high school, I think.
Yeah, like we were just a bunch of weebs, weren't we? We liked the animes and the mangas, and I used to draw so much, like on the back of books, on papers and stuff, and you would draw as well, and we kind of like be super supportive of each other. We're like, yeah, you should draw more, like do art, yeah.
But I can't really compare my drawing skills to yours. Because in a way, we kind of branched to different directions, I guess. Like, I ended
so.
up drawing like architectural stuff, and you're in the games industry.
Yeah, it's different kinds of art, but we're still in that space, which is quite nice.
We went back. I wouldn't say we were not even in the same high school. Technically, you were like in a girls' high school.
Yeah, I went to a girls' school. Wait, which school did you go to?
At that time, I think I might have been government school. Oh, we have to grab that. Okay.
You have to grab it.
Oh, I couldn't reach it. Wait, hold on. Why can't I grab it? Am I just too short? Oh, you have to grab it. Oh yeah, hold on. Maybe we both have to grab it.
Pull it. There you go.
There we go. Okay, cool.
And escape.
Oh yeah. See, you have to go. Oops.
What are you doing?
I fell down. Okay.
Yeah, so we went to different schools, but we had a thing called tuition classes. If any of my followers from the UK is wondering what tuition classes are, they're just basically like extra classes we take outside of school.
Yep.
Because Asians, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Even though people like you who are actually smart take that to learn, I went to tuition classes just to hang out and meet friends I don't meet in my regular school. This is why I'm horrible at school now.
Learn. I think nobody was asked to learn because we're all kind of like, we're forced by our parents. What the
Okay, it will change colors as soon as we step. Okay, hold on. Okay, now you go. Now I go.
Oh my gosh. This is a lot more stressful than it should be.
Oh! I got across
You
though.
left me to die!
I think we went to this tuition center called Top School.
Top school.
Yeah.
In Jaya.
Yeah.
We just call Jaya, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
I'm boosting,
stuck,
I'm
stuck.
boosting. Oh god, there's platforms.
Oh wait.
Okay. Oh. No, circle. Don't fall down. Okay, square. Ah!
I wonder if they even playtested this with like real people, you know?
Yeah, people who don't know the game mechanics straight away.
Not like the QA testers who are amazing at their jobs, by the way, and they're like
Yes.
amazing players.
Oh, wrong one.
But they need to trust this with like dumbasses like myself. Now I'm relearning this using the mouse.
Yeah,
You can do this.
we can do this, don't worry. Okay. Right. Move it.
Ready?
Okay. Let's go. I'll try and save you if I could.
Yeah.
There you go, you're on it. I think. Okay. Triangle.
Uh-huh. And put my foot down.
There we go.
Ah!
Crossover. Woohoo!
Wow, yeah, it is.
Oh.
It is a lot easier.
It is, right?
It is a lot easier on the mouse. Ah, okay.
Okay.
Now I know that.
Yeah, okay. I think our topic before was about tuition. Yeah, but near our tuition center there was an arcade. Oh fuck.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
I don't think, how are we supposed to talk and do this at the same time?
Oh, there's a vine.
Okay, so we used to go to this arcade near our tuition school.
Yes.
Where we would play...
Oh fuck, sorry, I should have waited. I'm just falling.
Right.
Where we played a myriad of games, arcade games obviously. And yeah, basically we skip classes and just play games.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, I have to take another step here. And then your turn. Oh fuck. Up!
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I guess both of us need to cross it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's telling us the tutorial how to do it because we're that dumb.
Y'all, this is super difficult.
It is. It is difficult as hell. Oh, no,
Oh my
no.
god. Fuck. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm still alive.
You remember like that one time we played that game in the arcades? What was it?
Time Crisis?
Yeah.
Oh, I fell
It was
down.
Time Crisis, and it was the first time we reached like the final boss because all of our classmates, everyone contributed their coins so that we could reach the boss.
Yep. Hey, it's probably the first time ever that I got paid to play a game. Oh no. Okay, I'm just gonna step over the vine and lift up my other leg. Oh no!
No, that was me! That was me! Sorry, we were so close. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was like
Yeah.
the first arcade game too that I actually finished. I don't think I
Completed?
before
Yeah, I
that.
don't think I've ever finished any games ever since that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was like
Okay.
shit.
Right leg up. Okay. Don't put your leg down. Okay. Alright. Yeah! Woohoo!
We did it! Oh my god. Holy shit.
Viewers
Oh,
back
there's
home,
more. There's
you don't
more.
know
Oh.
how much of an ass clenching that was. Alright, I'm gonna ask you the question I ask all my guests.
Yep.
What is like the game that influenced you the most? The game that means a lot to you?
I think I've answered this before in a few other things I've been on, so I'm sorry if it's going to be a boring answer to some of you, but it's definitely Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. I think like they're mainstream RPGs, JRPGs, right? So everybody kind of knows what they're about. But also, I think that was the first time I was ever so engrossed in a story. That was the first time I ever like played a storyline, if that makes sense, you know?
Sure.
Because up until then, fucking hell, I can't do this. No.
No. So JRPGs, like, did you grow up playing JRPGs then? Was your first game like the JRPG as well?
I would say so. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but like we're both from Malaysia. That's our childhood home country. I'm in the UK right now, and Isa is in Melbourne, Australia. So in Malaysia, like we only have what do you call that? Like those chipped PlayStations, so that we can play pirated games.
Super
Because
illegal.
we couldn't. Yeah, it was like as a child, you didn't really know these things, right? But like when you're older, you're like, actually, that's super illegal. But also, like the games are so expensive, especially
It
if
is.
you do, like if you convert them into like Malaysian ringgit from US dollars or whatever. Like it would cost you a whole arm and a leg, and like we no, there's no fucking way we could afford that. So
Exactly.
we had like specialist game shops that would sell like copied, like literally burned CDs. It's gonna show our age now. Like anybody,
Yep.
do people remember way back in the day where we just burn CDs?
Yep.
We'd burn songs and stuff, and we would burn PlayStation games as well. And I would just go to these shops, and they're like super cheap. Like I don't know, like 5 ringgit per disc or something. And
Which is
we'll go
like
home
probably
and,
like 10
stacks.
pence.
Yeah, super stacks of like all these games, and like I've never judged like you know how you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. I think you shouldn't judge a game by its cover, because that's what I did. I judged so many games by its cover because it's not like we had games magazines or whatever. I was just like, oh, this looks cool, I'll buy it and I will play it. And most games were kind of shit.
Yep.
But obviously there's like some classics where everybody told you have to play, and that would be the JRPGs. And yeah, you play one, you get consumed by it from weeks, months, depending on how fast you are. I remember as a child, I would like get up at 4 a.m. to play Kingdom Hearts up until like 6 or 7, until you have to go to school or whatever. And obviously you play it with like the volume really low to make sure that nobody gets woken up.
Yep. Oh god, I remember like piracy was rampant in our country, but it wasn't like we weren't aware. We assumed that was the norm. I think. I remember when I got my PS1 or the original PlayStation, the guy literally said, "Oh, with the original PlayStation, you get 20 free games." It was just like 20 discs of just random games that he just gave away. And one of it is like, you can get Final Fantasy VII, but it's like 6 discs. Or 8 discs, I can remember, but it was ridiculous.
It was 4. No, wait, no. No, it could be more than 4. Yeah, it could be between 7 or 8. Yeah, shit.
But to the point where it's pirated, so you don't know if all of it works. So you just pray to God that everything just functions.
You know what? I never finished Final Fantasy X because my Final Fantasy X disc would not, like, it wouldn't boot up. Like, it was a bit of a gamble. Every time you put it into PS2, you kind of wait for, like, that, you know, the boot up sound, like, and then I would just, like, do a little prayer. I'm like, come on, work, please be blue, please be blue. Because if it goes red or something, it's like, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't read your disc. So, yeah, I basically never finished Final Fantasy X because it was too much of a gamble every time I turned it on. And I never finished Final Fantasy IX because my disc, I think it was disc 3 out of 4 discs or something like that, I don't know. On the 3rd disc, it hung, like it was good, it was playing, it was playing like a cutscene, and it just stopped, it froze, and I was like, shit, when was the last time I saved? Oh my god.
Yep.
And I just haven't finished it.
And back then, kids who don't know this, saving occupied blocks in your memory card. It's not some mythical data in your hard drive that you can sit 100 gigs on. It's like 8 blocks out of 40 blocks, and you need to save a certain amount of blocks for certain games.
I miss that. I kind of miss that because it visualized the blocks, and if you turn on the PlayStation without any disc in, you could actually go into the blocks and like move them around and stuff. I think you could transfer the blocks between the different memory cards too, right? Yeah, so it's almost like you're actually dragging the blocks from one card to another card. Like, oh, I love retro UI like that. I know some people are gonna hate the fact I call the PS1 retro, but it is. We're literally in the PS5 era right now, so yeah.
The fact that we're talking about that old of a technology too means it's old.
Exactly. And like, I remember playing Monster Ranch or something for like hours and hours, and I just didn't know. I wasn't aware of the concept of a memory block at the time, memory cards. And then I just pressed saved and just assumed it's saved. And I was just like, I was so happy. I was like, hey dad, hey brother, like I was playing this game, I played it for hours. And they're like, did you save it? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we don't have a memory card yet. We haven't bought one yet. I was like, what? What's a memory card? And then my dad was just like, just gonna realize in a world of hurt. And I did.
It is like the pain that people never go through, especially like with Game Boys and saving 3 times that Pokemon save just in case it does save.
Yeah. Did you have like a little Pokemon ritual every time you, like, what did you do when you throw a Pokeball?
Oh god, I can't remember. I used to spam spam the shit of something, but honestly I can't remember.
I would say
way
B.
Too long.
I think I did B as well. I spammed B. Like B.
Just in case,
Honestly, the amount of prayers that we do, like hoping the Pokemon catches or hoping the disc works, you'd think we'd be way more religious than we are now.
Yep, 100%. So do you remember like the first game you played then?
The very first game?
Yeah.
Probably that Monster Hunter, Monster Ranch game.
Monster Ranch.
Yeah, like I think it's called Monster Ranch, where you kind of like you take care of a bunch of monsters. And I think the cover had this one-eyed monster with a tail. It was yellow.
Yeah. Speaking of the piracy thing, back I remember when like Final Fantasy X came out. The guy that I shopped from just flat out told me it's like 10 ringgit, but it's a Japanese version. Do you want to play? Like, yeah, sure, why not? I just bought the game and then opened it up and then just like spent how many hours on game facts just to try and figure out what menu does what.
Oh my god. I think I tried that with one of the Final Fantasy games. It was Final Fantasy X-2. And I tried playing that in Japanese because at the time I was learning Japanese in school, in high school. So I thought like it would be really good practice, right? Try to play the game that in the language that you're learning. In theory, yeah, sure, but everybody knows that with Japanese you have kanji, which is the Chinese letters. Couldn't fucking read any of that shit, even though our country had a lot of Chinese. Like Malaysia is, I would say, a third Chinese as well. So we have loads of Chinese-speaking people, Chinese reading people. I'm not one of those people. So I was a dumb baby trying to play a game in a language she didn't know. And never again. Yep. Even now.
Obviously, for those who follow you or on Twitter or Instagram, you quite openly talk about your favorite game. I'm pretty sure of all time, it has to be Persona 5.
It is Persona 5. Yeah, Persona 5 has become one of my all-time favorite games, which is kind of funny because despite of my love for JRPGs, I didn't really play Persona, like Persona 3 or 4 until much later, in like after university, I think. Or actually during university, I played Persona 3 and Persona 4. Obviously, people really love 4. 4 was the title that kind of put Persona on the map, I think. And I think the reason 5 is my favorite is because I'm in game dev now, which is very different from university. So university, I was in animation, but I didn't really learn how to make games at the time. It was just animation, just learning how to do film and TV and stuff. But once you're in the industry, you kind of appreciate a lot of things on a different level, and you can say that for a lot of things in a sense that like you could be critical of things on a different level as well because
Absolutely.
you know how games are made. But it's one of those things where like I think Persona 5 kind of ignited an old love for JRPGs that I've kind of lost for a while because I stopped playing JRPGs for a long time. Until Persona came, and then I actually finished it.
That's cool. I agree with what you said. I think you being involved in game dev would appreciate the craft or all the, I guess, intricacies that it takes to make a game in general. But yeah, in a way, like me being involved in architecture, I probably would appreciate certain details inside a building that some other people might or might not even care.
Actually, this is something I want to ask you because you're an architect, right? Like, as a game dev, when I play video games, I think about a lot of like, oh, this was made like this. Is like my brain doesn't turn off, when you're always on. You're always you have this critical eye and you're kind of analyzing things. Do you do that with buildings? Like when you go into a space or like in a room, do you do that? Do you analyze like, why did they design it this way? Or like, oh, this is a smart thing to do?
100%. Like. Now to the point where a few friends of mine have been house and apartment shopping, and they will just ask me what do you think, and I'll be like, there's no window there, or is that too small? Like, why is this oriented? Why is that kitchen so weird? It's just tiny bits like that. But if you go further in depth, you go to like special like those museums or projects, then you comment on like the space quality, the flow, which I'm sure. Video games have their own equivalent.
Do you remember this?
I do.
Yeah, so she does the exact same thing. Like she would be in a hospital and she would still be like critiquing the hospital. Yeah, so like my mom was at the hospital last time I was there with her, and she would just sit there and just critique like the space and be like, oh, the waiting area is like, it's not big enough, look at all these chairs bunched up together, it shouldn't be this way. It's just so funny. I guess I kind of do that with video games as well, because like now as we're playing this, I'm just like, did they not play testers with dumbasses like me?
Or like the UI, why not just explain it better? Or like speaking of your mom, sometimes I just love the stories that you share with your mom. For example, when you got like. When you were on a BBC correspondent, you shared like a video of your mom calling everyone she knows that you were on TV.
Yeah.
But it's super adorable.
I know. I mean, like that's one of the things. I'm sure you feel this like this as well, because like when you're far away from your family, it's a little bit difficult, isn't it? Being the one that's far away, and you're like. a lot of like family things are usually like the smaller things that happens like daily, and I miss that.
Yeah, true.
And yeah, it's kind of nice that we have technology now where we can just like video call or send videos. I have a nephew who's like, I would say 3, 4, maybe 6 months old. Who's
Cool.
it's like a very cute little baby, and my brother sends over videos of him just playing around the house and stuff, and it fills my heart with love.
I think you might have similar feels. Like for me, being in architecture, there's like certain projects and even certain offices that I would dream to work with. Is there like a game or even a studio that you kind of dream to work on?
I think this changes based on how old I am. Because like, yeah, I think when I was younger, obviously you want to work for Square Enix, or you know, all those big companies that make their JRPGs, right? But and then sometimes you think about, oh, what about like the super famous ones like Bethesda or Ubisoft or whatever the really big AAA studios. Naughty Dog is one of them as well, isn't it? Oh, we can do this.
Yep.
Yeah. But now I feel like after being in the industry for this long, I feel like the dream is just to start my own thing, you know?
Hell yeah.
Like, I just want to be my own boss. Like, I know that whatever I start will never be as big as any of the AAA studios, because, you know, capitalism and all that. You gotta be rich to start a rich company.
Yeah.
But I kind of just want to be sustainable. I want to be happy. I want to be able to just make, you know, doesn't have to be massive games, just good games, satisfying games that you find a good core audience for. And ultimately, like, if I were to say my dream company looks like the type of dream company where everybody is happy to work in, and you know, it's also like a good place where you're comfortable to stay for as long as you want, but you're also comfortable to leave when you need to, because life is like that, you know?
Yeah.
You come and go, and I just want to make sure that my company is a very nice place to work in. I think that's it, really. And we make nice games.
It is true though, like I know the industry in general is notorious for like things like crunch and people working crazy hours just to get things over the line, making it smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I guess if anybody has followed me for any amount of time at all would know just how strongly I feel about crunch and how strongly I feel about a healthy working environment. And obviously, I'm very passionate about diversity and inclusivity within the games industry. So if I were to start a games company, it is literally because of that. I just want it to be a good environment. I want it to be inclusive, and then I want my colleagues ultimately to be diverse and happy. Like, you know, that I want it to be a safe space to create video games. That is literally it.
Which is the dream, I guess. I think in general, any industry would kind of benefit from that, just having a wider, diverse range.
It's tough.
Industry,
like,
it is tough.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say that, you know, if we started our companies right now, it's gonna be just like an easy switch of like, yeah, just do it right the first time, guys. It's definitely not that simple. Because you know, even running Limit Break right now, there's a lot of like interpersonal issues that I have to deal with, you know, grievances, or even just like customer support and, you know, dealing internally, externally, optics, everything. It's difficult, and I'm super grateful for Limit Break right now, because this mentorship program that I'm running almost feels like training wheels of what it feels like to run a company. Like, it's nowhere near close to running an actual company, even though we are technically a real company, we're registered and everything. But you know, for game development, like it's a million different moving parts, and you just want to make sure that you know what, we're trying our best.
Yeah. For those that don't know, I think I briefly mentioned it at the start of the show. Limit Break is the mentorship program specifically for underrepresented people working in the games industry in the UK?
Underrepresented people. So it's people who identify as women, non-binary people, trans people, anyone who's part of the LGBTQ plus community, and also people of color. Yeah, so because we lack a lot of these people in the games industry, and this is exactly the type of people that we want to help giving mentorship for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think it's true. Like, even though the industry is slowly changing and there is a bit more prevalence of women in the games industry than it was probably like 10 years ago, but it's still a long way to get there. Like, even for us industry in the construction, it was very male dominated for decades before eventually like women started to have key roles in, like, have key studios and projects going on.
Yeah, I get you. Like, I think we're at like less than 28% women in the games industry in the UK at least. That's the 2020 census, and it's pathetically low. Seeing how video games is, it's an art form. Like, it's a desk job. Like, we don't need brute strength for it or anything like that. Yet why is it still heavily male? Especially where video games is played by 50-50, like 50% male and female. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah, there's this weird, like, how jobs are gendered, how a nurse should be women or game developers should be men, which completely doesn't make sense. And I think the new generation, our generation and the one next to ours, we're trying to rectify that.
Yeah. Which I think people are slowly embracing more. Like, there's still obviously those gamer people on the internet that will obviously oppose, who will always see that the agenda of pushing diversity is somehow against them for whatever reason. But
it's hilarious because, like, yes, the agenda is that we're pushing diversity, but it doesn't mean that we're pushing people out. We're not pushing people out, we're inviting more people in. Like, if you want your sexy booby games, they still exist.
No one's stopping you.
Believe me, as long as there's demand, they will continue making those video games. But at the same time, we just want to make games for other people who haven't had the privilege of getting the games that they want to play made.
Exactly. I think that also applies to, for example, people with disability now. So they're creating games that accommodate, for example, special kinds of controllers or colorblind settings, which I don't see why we shouldn't be embracing that kind of accessibility.
No, it's great. Like, I love how it's not even a point of contention anymore. Like, in any studio where it's like, it's not a question, will we do it? It's like, it's a question of how are we going to do it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So before we end the show, I think I asked this of all my guests. Is there anything you want to say or plug or?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter at Studio Anisa, or you can follow Limit Break Mentorship, which is at LB Mentorship, or you can follow Izzat at
Izzato, or this YouTube channel which doesn't have a channel name except for Roboto.
Yep. I am super active on Twitter if you want to see me talk about video games in the UK and also just diversity issues and whatever else that I'm on. And yeah, thank you for having me. This was actually really fun. I like that it was super stressful the first half, but towards the second half we actually started getting into it and we just actually just like chatted and we finished the previous level just talking.
It's kind of like Pacific Rim. Our brain just synced eventually. Like, the first half of it we just fought. And then now we're like, okay, right, left.
Oh my god, the Pacific Rim episode where the robots are fucking idiots.
But before we end, I just want to add like a tiny tidbit for anyone. If you ever approach Anisa, please ask her why I used to call her Shuichi, which will forever be the secret between me and her and the people who knew her during high school.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about it. No. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show.